Welcome to another episode Beyond Perception. My name is Simon, and today I'm honored to host Chris Duncan, who is not only a successful entrepreneur, bestseller author, but also a coach and leadership authority and the dynamic force behind conscious education, where, as far as I know, you, together with your wife and your team, are really empowering humans to change their lives and create what they love. So it's my joy to be here together with you. Welcome, Chris.
Thanks, Simon. Hey, man, I really appreciate it. It's going to be great, and everyone out there listening, make sure you subscribe to this channel, because the more education, the more you can shift your perception, the better your life's going to be. So hey, man, I'm excited.
Yeah, likewise. So we met personally. I think it was 2 months ago, something like that. A couple of weeks ago, we met on a safari in Swaziland.
Yeah.
We went on a trip with William Whitecloud, a creative development trainer, and that's where our paths crossed. And so I'm glad to catch up here again. And I thought, what would be interesting to talk about? And so I think with your expertise and wisdom and experience, we could fill a couple of episodes. Because you have really, as I shared in the introduction, you have so much experience in with the creative process and really transforming people's life. But you're also a very successful entrepreneur, business mentor, and also accomplished writer. So what I thought, and you can tell me if that makes sense. So there seems to be a common theme, though, in all. And I would say it's transformation. It's really changing one's perspective or relationship to something. So maybe to oneself or business or writing, and breaking through into new paradigms. So that would be my first question. Was that something you were always curious about, or was there a catalyst which led you down this path, if that's a correct description from my side?
I think that's a great question. I think what happens is your own selfish desires end up turning into your biggest joy and your contribution to the world. So Joseph Campbell's work, The Hero's Journey, right?
Yeah.
If listeners look it up, a fantastic body of work, basically looked at the hero's journey across different mythology and religions, and it's in every movie anyway. It's a basic path. The first journey that we go on is our journey of achievement, and in our journey of achievement, there's a second journey that we go on in order to get to that achievement, which is a journey of transformation. So basically, the hero's journey starts out with a call, and my call was a call to figure out how to become free. That was my call. And so I ended up answering the call and went on a journey to become free. In that journey of becoming free and having the finances and the mindset to become free, I had to transform. In that transformation, I went to the third journey, which is the journey of contribution. And that's where my selfish desire to figure out how to become free led me down a 19-year journey to figure out how to create, successful businesses and be completely self-sustaining with my mindset. And I had to transform, and now I'm giving it back. And so what the catalyst of it was my own desires. And I think a lot of us, we don't realize that our own desires are points of information in the future that are there for us to evolve into, and that we must follow them. And if it doesn't make sense to connect the dots looking forward, why, when I started out in 2003 with my very first business, why that led me to now running the largest, superconscious development company that's ever existed. That can't correlate, right? There's no way to see it, but I can see it. Do you know what I mean? So I think your selfish desire, when you go through the three journeys, leads you to your contribution to the planet.
And that's very interesting. So was there a conscious moment where you thought, like, fuck, like, I need to do something, like, I'm not free, I want to create freedom?
Yeah, freedom was it. And it was, I felt so stuck. I didn't finish high school. So growing up for me, the only thing that mattered to me was playing sport and playing basketball. Yeah, for me growing up, the only thing that mattered was playing basketball, and I wasn't interested in anything else but becoming a professional athlete. And when I was at school, I was so frustrated. I felt so trapped. I was passing everything, but I just wasn't going to class. And so the teachers, basically said, you have to turn up to class. And I just said, well, why would I need to turn up? I'm passing the exams. I want to go play basketball. I want to be a professional basketball player. So I'll pass your bloody exams, but I'm not going to waste time in your class. And so that was unacceptable to them. So they kicked me out, basically. After lots of arguments, they kicked me out. So I decided to just not go back to school, and just went and played basketball full time at age of 16. And age 17, started my first business as a personal trainer. And so I was a personal trainer, and I was playing basketball, and I was writing my own ticket, and I felt this freedom, like, wow, cool. Like, it was so crazy. Within 6 months of starting my personal training business, I was making more money than my teachers were making back at the school they just kicked me out from. And I was pretty arrogant, I was pretty arrogant about it. Here I am doing these things. And it really just sparked in me that there was a way that I could, catch up to the adults. If that makes sense. I was like, I can beat him, because I had the sports mentality. So I can beat him. And then what I realized was that I ended up, kind of following that path. And I realized nearly every adult that I knew had completely got it wrong. And I was about 19 years old when I figured this out. I was like, they all don't know that they're all just wasting their time in jobs. And so I became like super pat. I was like, what the heck is going on? So at this stage, I'd found my way into my second or third business, and I was at university. I was studying finance and marketing. And on the side, I was running a DJ company. I ended up having 5 people work for me as a DJ. And so while everyone else was struggling through university, I had tons of money, I had this business. And so it just became like this thing where back then, the young me, making my own money and having more money than other people, suddenly became this way to prove that I was good enough and prove that I had more choices and I could do things they couldn't do. So that, that's where it started. And then really, as I moved forward in life, I realized that actually I had just created a different version of non-freedom. If that makes sense. So now, I was self-employed, but I was still stuck in the same system and in the same mold of comparison and, trying to be better than everyone else. And that's when I really started my education. I really started going, okay, well, what really is going on? And so I ended up getting distracted off the path for a while. And then I found my way back with, creative structure and creative orientation. For a long time, I just sort of went the wrong way. And I actually realized that the system has given you an open door to get freedom. There's an open doorway right here, and no one looks at it, right? Everyone talks about, the matrix system, the people, the this, the job, but they don't ever, there's an open doorway right here, and it's called create a business that works without you. Business is a profitable enterprise that works without you. And as soon as I realized that there were billionaires, and I got some great training, actually got some amazing training from a billionaire. Once I realized that there were people that didn't have to run away from the system, because that's what I did. I ran away from it, and I just thought, screw this, there are people in the system who figured out how to have amazing freedom and amazing lives. And so I just got super inspired, and I found out that those people were called entrepreneurs, and most of them are like me, didn't finish high school. Most of them are rebels. Most of them are, high functioning people that, are also very headstrong and stubborn. And so I followed that path and just became obsessed with billionaires and entrepreneurs. And that was about 11 years ago. I started really getting obsessed with billionaires. And so I built a couple 8-figure companies. I sold one. Our business right now is doing around about $2 million a month. And we are in the end result of helping as many people to realize their freedom by creating a business that works without them. So that's the Cliff Notes.
That's incredible. And you said something before. I hope I correctly paraphrase, but you said something along the lines of you must follow your own selfish desire.
Yeah, you do. Yeah.
Which you're not often here, like explicitly the invitation. No, like don't be egoic. Like, that's selfish. No, like you should do something which benefits everyone. Whatever. Like, what's your thought on that, or could you clarify that a bit more? What do you mean by selfish desire, and why must one follow that?
If everyone followed their own self desire, they typically are going to go after something in their life that's artistic, purposeful. They're going to do something, and they're going to achieve that. But what happens is by achieving that, and usually to achieve, other people would also like to achieve. Make money, be able to build amazing houses, go down the rainforest and experience spirituality, whatever it is, right? Normally it's other people want to have that as well. So what happens is in our early adulthood, if we focus on our own selfish desires and achieving them, we transform into someone who can have those desires. And then we go back as a teacher, a leader, a guide, a mentor to others. And Campbell discovered this. Joseph Campbell, The Hero's Journey, he discovered this. It's, you follow your own, because as you go on a journey to create something or have something, you have to overcome your old identity. You have to let it go. You have to stay in the end result. You have to remove resistance. You must have a rebirth, and you come out the other side a success. And in that success, you then to go back and teach it. See, what most people do is they don't follow their own self-interest or self-desire. They don't. What most people do is they play it safe. Most people don't want to have this 9-to-5 job as an accountant. They ignore their self-desire. Their self-desire might be that they want to go and travel the world, on a boat, or live in a tropical island. I've got a client of mine. All she wanted to do was to take photographs around the world. Now she's sponsored to do that. Most people don't follow it. That's what's interesting about it, is most people do not follow their desires. They don't go and start their music career. They don't do it. And so because of that, they never get to fulfill their dreams, and they never get to show others how to fulfill their dreams as well, which is the actual paths we should be going on.
And probably from that perspective, it was a blessing that you didn't finish formal education, because you could say that's what we're educated to do, to not follow our selfish desires, but just follow along. It was always with the conventions.
I was always a rebel, I was always a rebel, and I always would just think through things a bit different to other people, so the teachers are saying, you can't go, you have to pass the exams. Okay, cool. So I'll pass the exams, but I'm not going to come to class because class is slow. Give me the textbook. Give me the book. Give me the textbook. Give me what I have to learn. I'll go learn it. I don't want to sit here with all these slow people asking dumb questions. And, I was like, I don't want to sit here with all of this slowness. I'll read it in an hour. I'll do all of my classwork in 2 hours, and I'll pass the test. And I even said to them, I said, look, if I fail below a B+, bring me back to class. And I was like, bring me back to class because fair enough. But I didn't. so
they didn't agree to your deal?
Huh?
They didn't agree to your proposal?
No, what there was, if we do it for you, we have to do it for everyone, and it breaks the blah, blah, blah. We can't have people not do it. This is the way it is. Which, in hindsight's a fair point, but I didn't care. So I left. So we just disagreed. So I left. But yeah, so, it's by following your own self-interest and following your heart and following your truth and following your selfish desires. See, a lot of people think that they want to go help a lot of other people, right? But they don't really. They don't. They want the feeling of how good it feels to help other people. You're actually selfishly wanting to help other people because it feels good. It's actually selfish. If it didn't feel good to help other people, you wouldn't do it. So you're coded. You've got a feeling that you're actually chasing it. You're just using the other people. Right. So you see a lot of people go, I want to be this amazing coach. Oh, Chris, it's so cool. Like, I just ran the seminar over the weekend. We had 700 people come to the seminar, right? And so I just finished yesterday. That's why I'm a a bit sort of hoarse today, I guess, with my voice. And so I just finished the speaker seminar. And afterwards, last night, I came up to me, oh, Chris, it must feel so good to help all these people and blah, blah, I would love to help all these people. And yeah, I know, it feels really good. As I said to myself, it feels so good. So I'm so selfish making you guys all come to my seminar and changing your life because it feels so good to me, and when you truly get that, it's, you're very powerful.
And so, yeah, so I think your goal, and maybe I don't know if that's still up to date, is to empower 50 million people, which is incredible. What's your message, or what's the key of your teaching or invitation?
Yeah, we have 3 steps, which is recode your identity, restructure your life, restructure your consciousness, and recreate your life. And so the first message is that you're not broken and you don't need therapy or personal development. You're actually not broken. And the focus on therapy or personal development or self-help is actually incorrect. And it leads you to put the power in the problem orientation, which is a focus on the way things are not right. And so that's the first message, is to understand that your unconscious part of your mind is based in fear or safety. And it just wants you to stay alive. And so whenever you go for something in life, there's a part of you that doesn't want you to change. And if you don't update this part of you, it will just keep pulling you back to the same experience that you survived between ages 0 and 4. So this is our first step, recode. We have developed the world's leading superconscious mindset tool, which was developed over 30 years with a psychiatrist, Gary Flint, who passed it to my teacher, Colette Stryker, who developed it into what it is today, that uses muscle testing and reading of the field to teach someone's brain how to completely rewire its identity at the base level. So that's our first step, is recode. The second is to restructure. So you must restructure your life. You must be feeling good about it now, not trying to fix it. So we use 4 core choices that we have each of our clients choose every day to live these core choices. One of them is one that Robert Fritz, brought to my awareness in 2008 when I did his DMA course, which is the predominant creative force in life. And so we choose these and we reorient. See, if you really want to be creative, you must be it to see it. And that means that, in the moment, you must be feeling all the feelings that you want to feel in the future. So you must restructure now. And the last thing we do is we recreate. So recode your old identity, restructure your focus, be it now. And then lastly, recreate. And so recreate is true choices. Now, a true choice by definition is not a goal. It's something you choose, but there's only one reason that you choose it. And that one reason is that you would just love to see it manifest. You just love to see it manifest. That's it. You just love it. There's no other reason. There's no, I'd love this because of this or because of that. It's just, you just love it. You just want it. It's just meaningful. So, obviously I've written a couple of best-selling books. One sold 1 million copies, which is pretty amazing. And I just love that. That's so cool. I wanted a sold-out seminar. I just want it to just be fun. You just choose it. You want things, right? Like I own an awesome Lamborghini and a house that's paid off, and you just choose. I just want this, and it's I'm in the end result of owning a retreat or maybe even a safari lodge in Africa. So there's these cool things that you just want it for no reason. And when you get into that mindset, Simon, and listeners, I really want you to get this, is when you've let go of your old identity, you've recoded your old identity, you've restructured your life. You're feeling, there's 4 things to restructure, by the way. You choose to love your life. You choose to be healthy and vital. You choose to live your true nature and purpose, and you choose to live as a primary creative force in your life. Once you've restructured, then you get to create some amazing choices. But you're not creating to make $1 million because it's going to change your life so much. You're just doing it because it'll be a fun game to have $1 million. People say, "Oh, Chris, you built an 8-figure company and sold it. Why are you still interested in money?" I'm like, "Cause," and they can't get their head around. They're like, "Why would you want more?" I'm like, "It is so fun to have more." They're like, "What do you mean?" Like, it is so fun. Like, it is amazing. I get to do amazing, cool stuff. Like like last week, me and my wife, we got on a plane. We flew private from LA to New York, got off the plane. We saw Jerry Seinfeld and a bunch of other cool comedians. We saw Kevin Hart, Jerry Seinfeld in this one big show. We went for cocktails in New York, had a great night, slept at the most expensive hotel that we could find, woke up the next morning, got back on the plane and came back. It cost me like 15 grand to go to this show. But it was so much fun, and it's like, that's fun to me. And then, also, on the other side of it, my wife and I, we're in the top 1% of donors to our charity. And we're starting another charity of our own over in the Philippines where we're teaching people how to become virtual assistants and giving them a computer. So it's just fun, and so you just got to get yourself into this mindset that life's on obligation to help everyone else. Life's a playground of creating what it is. It feels good. Okay. So anyway, 3 steps: recode, restructure, recreate.
So if I look into my own life, my own past, and if I look into our society, one could say that true nature and purpose, or seeing oneself or recognizing oneself as a primary creative force in life, is a little bit far from how we see ourselves. So would you say that the first part of your program, or like part of transformation, is coming back to baseline, to recognize who one is, to then kind of start creating from that perspective? Or how do you see it?
Yeah. I help people start right at the beginnings. And I could do, can I screen share? We're on Zoom.
Yeah, sure.
I can talk.
Just give you,
because we got a very clear plan of how we move people.
Yeah, now you're a co-host, so you can share your screen. Yes, of course. Yeah.
I'll show you. Let me just see if I can find this real quick. The reason why I've just got this from my session yesterday.
Okay.
So it's just on my mind,
And so you're just a matter of interest. So you're working with people over a couple of years, or is this like you said, there's a time where you're restructuring your focus, and that's over the course of months or weeks, or it depends individually, or is that something?
We have multiple programs, and look, we just do a weekly payment. And so some people are with us for a month, some people are with us we've got people that have been with us 5 years, and it's just they pay weekly and they join our community and they get weekly coaching. So look, what we do is we want to help people become a superconscious creator, right? And this is what they can do. A superconscious creator can recode toxic emotions and limiting beliefs with ease. It's happy and grateful now, excited to create more, uses structure and intuition to manifest with precision, has integrated their shadow, receives their full power, is a maniac on a mission, healthy and vital, living a life they love, expressing their true nature and purpose, making the world a better place. So the first path that we take people on is they start out here. They've tried lots of before. They've done loads of personal development, and it's worked a little bit. They feel kind of hopeful, and they're becoming aware of their patterns, right? They're oscillating back and forward in life, but they're committed to learning the training. Then we move them to awareness, right? So the very first step, where you ask me, how do I start with people? I just move them into awareness. They feel clarity and optimistic about their potential. Their powers return to them. They understand why other trainings haven't worked, and they're focused on the foundational training. They create a simple life plan, a perfect average week. And at this point, there's still things that upset them, right? But they're actually getting better. And so then we move them to a life they love. And so the first steps is just love your life now. It's all good. You've got a job, you've got a roof over your head, you've got a family, just if you can't love it now, you won't love it in the future. So we get them to love their life now. They really understand they're not broken. They recode resistance, let go of old patterns. Okay, so that's what we do. The next step is called magnetic focus. And now they're loving their life. Now they're starting to create a bigger focus. Like, what would you like that's bigger? Now they're inspired. They're wanting to dream bigger. So we have around about 4,000 people at this level right now in our programs. We get people to self-regulate where they are. And then we move them to magnetic creator. And we've got just under 1,000 people who are definitely here and at the next steps, which is at this part, the path is long gone. They're a creator, they're focused and happy, in awe of their ability. They feel powerful, in charge of their life, ready to dream more. And then we move them to the second phase, which is where we go to level 6, which is superconscious vision. And it's a superconscious vision. Now we start pulling. So you see what I mean? So we just break it down for them. And some people, like, you're already past this level from my interaction with you. But some people start right at the bottom when I meet them. So they can start wherever. And so this is where they start going for bigger dreams. Level 7 is creative intuitive. And that's where they start to understand intuition, master the basics, can visualize end results. They can use circles, the wisdom process, structural tension, all the stuff that you teach. And at this level, superconscious is becoming a way of life. The next level is magical creator, which is where they're living it. They feel confident. They've mastered intuition. They know the 9 orientation circles, written guidance. They stay focused 50% of the time on their choices, and they refocus within minutes of being triggered. And this moves into the second to last level, which is level 9, master creator. And we've got a couple hundred people, master creators. Their life is on fire. Life is a playground. The one reason when I know people at master creator, they literally never say they can't do things. They've always got the money, the finances, the resources. They're just like creating like crazy. We're doing our own Africa Safari next year, Mind Africa Safari, sold out in 48 hours. It was these people who bought it, and it was a $20,000 US price point in 48 hours because these people, yeah, of course we're going to that. Boom, let's go, And so that leads to level 10, which is superconscious leader, which is where you're making the world a better place. You've achieved what you set out to achieve, right? And now you're on your second journey, the journey of contribution. So to answer your question, we just start people off with awareness, then a life they love, then magnetically focus on what they want, right? We just step them through, man, because it's a journey. And some people, most people will go through, then they'll come back down and go up and down, and then they'll stay. And so we work with people, we've been running the program for 5 years now. And so some people, maybe about 400 or 500 people have been in right 4 or 5 years, because it's just a way of life.
That's amazing. And so what's the essence of how you take people on this journey? Is it teaching processes? Is it teaching principles? Is it teaching, I don't know, self-reliance? Or what would you say is the core of enabling people to move or to journey through these different stages? Or is it different?
Well, the essence is so there's 3 steps, right? Which is recode your old identity. So let your old self go, restructure and love your life, and create your true choices. And so those are the 3 steps. Now, underneath that, there's some skills. So the first skill they must have is the skill of mastering their thoughts and emotions, right? So we teach this process. The second skill is the skill of creative intuition. And the third skill they must master is to be able to integrate their shadow and receive their full power. And so those are the 3 skills. And so if I said, what is it all about? It's all about creating. It's about manifesting your highest potential. I mean, that's the essence. It's about, you have a reason to be here. The walnut is supposed to be an oak tree. And if you bang open a walnut and you can't see that it's got any potential to be an oak tree, if you just saw one there, you wouldn't know that's what it's supposed to be, this big, strong tree. You look at it, it's not. So I mean to say acorn, by the way, not walnut. Acorn is supposed to be an oak tree. And so it's really that. It's helping people to receive their fullest potential and fullest expression. That's what we're here to do.
Amazing. Yeah. And you're doing that for so long, and I think that's something where many people have opinions, but also might get lost a little bit. And I think that's also what you referred to initially, along the lines of you're not broken, you don't need fixing, you don't need healing. And you could say there's this kind of 2 crowds. No, there's the ones saying we're all traumatized, we all have issues, we all need healings, and some others and say like, no, there's nothing, we don't need fixing. Could you elaborate a little bit on that? Is there is like healing, is that a thing, or is that like, why would that not be necessary? Like, let's like phrase that question like that way. Or could you talk a little bit about that? What you mean by we don't need fixing, or like, because that's probably what many people perceive, no, that there's a lack, there's something wrong with them. There's
we built
traumatized. They're feeling not good about themselves. What?
Yeah. Well, we had that whole belief got built from Freud. It wasn't a belief before then. In fact, the whole idea that your conscious thought affects your reality is around about 150 years old. It's very new. It's not an old belief. It's very new. There's no books on it before then. There just isn't. Now there's many other, but that whole idea is so new, and it's just popular at the moment. And so what's popular at the moment is this idea that if you didn't have traumas, if you didn't have pain, if you didn't have stress, life would be better. And so it got popularized by Freud, and then everyone figured out in the 60s that if you change the chemicals that you give somebody, you can change the way they feel. And so this whole idea of how we should always feel good was introduced. And so this whole world was birthed, and they figured out how to make money from it. And psychologists all studied from the basis of starting with Freud or sometimes Jung, but they miss another one of the great psychologists, Alfred Adler. And Alfred Adler, in my opinion, he's the best of the bunch. But his is not so marketable, because he says your past does not create your present. And he talks about how you can either be informed by the past you or informed by a future you, but you're making them both up anyway. And what's the point of healing something that's no longer there? It's the meaning you make of something. And so flatly, the whole premise is wrong. And any listener out there, you've all known someone who's gone to healing after healing after therapy, and they're still fucked up. I don't know if I should say they're still broke. They're still looking to heal, right? And so it's just obvious. I don't know one person that has finished. I don't know one person who starts a healing journey that's ever finished. I know many people who've started it and it's 30 years later, and they're still doing it. And that's because they tell me, I was doing this in the 90s and this in the 70s. I was doing this and that. And they're still doing it. And so when you find the person that's fully healed and no longer having to still do healings, meditations, and control themselves, you find that person and I'll listen. But they're always still trying to heal themselves. Whereas when you look at some of the truth is that instead of trying to heal it, the ones that change, they just let it go and they create a new them, because we're just a point of consciousness in the field. So it started with Freud, and then we had Think and Grow Rich come through from Napoleon Hill and his good friend, W. Clement Stone. W. Clement Stone was an amazing man. He ended up giving away hundreds of millions of dollars. He was an insurance salesman. And he told everyone that you needed to think positive and you'll get positive results. And he was very good friends with Napoleon Hill, who wrote Think and Grow Rich, obviously. And so that was only in the 1930s, that birthed a whole new wave of positive thinking creates positive results, which is just ridiculous. Positive thinking creates positive thinking. That's all it creates, nothing else. I don't deny it. Positive feeling creates positive feeling. That's what it creates, nothing else. And that's a good thing. I get it. But you're not going to trick the universe, So people think, well, if I think positive, I'll get something else other than just thinking positive. Does that make sense? It's like, and so what happened is positive thinking became the new, woman in red dress that everyone was looking at going, look, that's amazing. That's what we should all do, And so again, another premise that doesn't actually help. You think good, you think great, that's awesome. But if you have to always think good, what happens on a bad day? See what happens on a bad day. We all have bad days. Now the bad day, now you got to be critical of yourself and feel bad. And this whole new thing got invented called negative feelings, right? Negative feelings got invented. Anger's not negative. Grief's not negative. They're just feelings letting you know how a present moment is. And so here's my point, and I say this to everyone: you show me the person who started out in therapy and it's finished, and they're no longer doing any more therapy or healing, like and they're completely cool. You show me that person, and I'll listen. But they got to be completely finished with it and no longer reading books about it or healing from it. They finish. You show me that, and I'll listen, because I can show you a ton of people who are creating the most magical lives, and they just decide to let go of their old self. I can show you tons of people: Oprah Winfrey, Jay-Z, J.K. Rowling, who wrote Harry Potter. Steve Jobs was adopted. Jeff Bezos was adopted as well. Like, all sorts of people have done amazing things in spite of perceived traumas, and they just go and they get on with life. So that's my opinion.
It makes a lot of sense. It's part of my own discovery. Quite a couple of years on the healing journey, and then suddenly realizing, well, I will never finish this. I'm never finishing this. And that's just
you won't.
That's just
you won't, because you put the intention in the field that there's something you must heal about yourself or fix about yourself. But then what? There's no other side of that. The only intention you're setting is there's something I must fix or heal. And so once you do one thing, oh, that felt good, but there must be something that I must fix. That's all that you gave. Whereas if you're in the creative structure, you focus on what you want, let go of how you've been. Focus on what you want, let go of how you've been. Then there's something for the consciousness to focus on, right? And so I had before Superconscious and after Superconscious. Before Superconscious, I was trying to fix and heal and fix and heal. And then I got training from a billionaire. And he said to me, Chris, I won't invest in you because you're too busy being a not it, trying to fix yourself. He said, you're being a not it. You need to be an it. And I was like, what does that mean? He said, you need to be the person who already feels that they're worthy, abundant, they've already got it. They already have this successful business, and you need to let go of the old self. And I was like, that sounds exactly the same. He's like, no, the intention's completely different. One's a creative intention and one is a fixing intention. And once I realized that the very first thing I must do is to restructure myself into creating a life I love. See, think about this, right? There's this amazing study. They put a rat in a cage and had water with cocaine in it. And then they had normal water. So, of course, the rat just got addicted to cocaine, would press a lever and have it. But then they took that rat, well, not that one. I think that one would have died. But they got another one, and they did the study again. But this time they put the rat in rat paradise. Like, there was other rats to play with. There was, all sorts of games for it to run around and, probably have sex with other rats. Well, it was rat paradise. And in this instance, they had the same cocaine.
Yeah, sorry.
Oh, it's rat paradise, dude. And so they had the water, the normal water, and then they had the cocaine water. And in this instance, the rats never got addicted to it. They're too busy having fun. They would probably just have it, once or twice a month, a Saturday night. No, just kidding. But they, and they didn't get addicted, because here's the key is, like, our world right now is suffering with depression. I just drove from San Diego to here. There was this big billboard. It said, antidepressants not working, try ketamine. And I took a photo of it. It's on my Instagram, because it just made me laugh. It just made me laugh. Like, I'm like, yeah, how about this? How about we realize that we're actually all those rats, and we just need to create a life we love. Like, the human psychology at the moment is like, oh, we just need AI. We just need the next thing. We just need faster cars. We just need electric cars. We just need this. We just need this. No, do you know what we actually need? We all need to realize that right now we have more at our fingertips than the US president had just a decade ago. Like, we have all this amazing technology, right? Our ancestors 100 years ago would look at us and go, and you still can't be happy? You're still not happy? You're still not happy? You can fly around the world in minutes. You can Zoom conference people and feel like they transport them to your living room. Like, you still haven't figured out how to be happy. The pandemic of our times isn't some coronavirus. The pandemic of our times is people who have not structured their life to be able to actually be in joy. And so they're racing to do all of these things. And, they have to go, and I'll just say it, even though I care about you, but, they'll race off to South America and they'll do ayahuasca. And then the next thing they'll do is MDMA therapy. And the next thing they'll be doing is this therapy and that therapy. but they still haven't just put their life together, you know? They just haven't actually created a life they love. And they're so busy racing everywhere under an assumption that if they could finally fix themselves or be different, then they would be happy. And I'm really passionate about it because it really screwed me up. And so, you know, we kind of just come out with a whole different approach, and people are coming in loving it, and their lives are just completely different, you know.
Completely resonates and very much describes my own journey and realizations. And you mentioned superconscious, and basically, and you mentioned also rebirthing. So that implies to wake up into a different understanding of self. So could you describe a little bit what is that like? What are the basic premises, or what is superconsciousness like to someone who's hearing it for the first time? And
yeah. Well, thanks. Yeah. So if you search superconscious, you'll come across me. So I'm the most well known with attached to that word, and so Superconscious was first introduced to me through Robert Fritz, but I ignored it. And then it came back around 8 years later, where I learned from Colette Stryker how to do the recode process. Then I reintegrated to Robert Fritz's work through William Whitecloud, Superconscious, and then I studied with Simone Wright, who also used the word superconscious, and she does it too. So if you search Superconscious, you'll find a lot about me. But if you go to like the second page of Google, you'll see, you know, lots of publications on what superconscious is. And basically, it's a higher intelligence where our creative intuition is stored. And so if you search, you'll find Harvard research papers from the 70s and 80s and 90s as well. And they all come back to one conclusion, is that there is a higher mind that has awareness above conscious thought. It's where our insight, it's where all healing happens, and it's a place of outside of your consciousness. And it's a very cool place. It's where we go to when we get a sense about someone they're not trustworthy, or we just get excited about a future, and it's invisible. And so when you rise to the level of superconscious, it's what every inventor has done to invent the impossible, invent the light bulb, invent electricity, invent the computer I'm talking on, and Zoom. And it's where every healing takes place. And so humans have this remarkable ability to invent and make up things that have never been invented or made up before. And it's remarkable. So the most human thing we can do is to use our superconscious, which is our creative intuition, to manifest the invisible and turn it into physical. This is the most human thing. We all think we're here to have a spiritual experience. No, we're already spiritual. We're here to have a human experience. Spiritual experience is going to happen when we get to when we have our second death. So we're here to have a human experience. And the most human experience you can have is to tune into your highest vibration, your highest potential, your calling, as Campbell would put it, and manifest that in this plane.
So that implies many of us humans probably don't have a really conscious human experience in that sense, because, and also that's my own experience. I was trying to get away from where I was with lots of what I put my energy in, and very reactive to circumstances, and just didn't make sense, this human experience, until, and that's also what happened over the last couple of years, really, getting a very different context and having a very different insight into who I am and who I thought I am, and really a reorientation in life. Is that, like, to go back to your offering of transformation, how you lead people through this new context, a new understanding? Is there a certain moment, or is there a certain step in this kind of journey you take them through where this happens, where they start recognizing this is not just a concept, that there's a different possibility or different understanding of where I am, but where they have that realization?
I don't know. Maybe when they achieve something that they, when they create something that, to be honest, a lot of people come into my work and they can't get over this one fact. They have this one thing in their way, and their one thing is that they give money all the power. And they have all these dreams, but they just say they can't do it because of money. And so I said, okay, no problems. Money's a nice thing. It's a measurement system. It's cool. I know how to get money. I'm very good at getting money. So what you must do to get money is, here's the structure of money, add value to other people in a way they want to pay for it. So let's figure that out. So honestly, most of the people, I'm like, all right, cool. You got all these choices you want. Let's go create you a bunch of money. Because what happens is they go create themselves a bunch of money and they pay off their debts. And, let's say they get to $15,000, $20,000 a week or something, right? Just, they got enough cash. All of a sudden, they don't have that excuse anymore and they have to face themselves. And I find that to be a really useful tool. Is, all right, let's go make the money then, come on. It's just really funny. What I do, Simon, is I give everyone an affiliate percentage to sell my programs. So they have a program that they believe in, that they know works, and they just go out and I'm like, all right, we'll go sell it then if you've got no other business. And then they do, and they go change some lives and make some money. And then all of a sudden they don't have that excuse anymore. And so I guess to answer your question is that we're all so used to having this one excuse, right? It's been passed down from our forefathers that we can't do what we want because we don't have money, or forebearers, mothers, whatever. So that seems to me to be a big transformation for a lot of them. It's like, if I have 20K USD coming in every month and I'm only working, a few hours every day, shit, now what? I don't have that excuse anymore. Crap. And they have to really face themselves, because I tell you, and every listener, I'll tell you this right now, the best thing you can do is go become financially free, because then you'll know who you really are. You know who you really are. Because before then, you're just putting money as the reason why you don't have to do it yet.
That's very interesting perspective. Yeah, makes a lot of sense. There's another question I want to ask you when I have the opportunity. So, on the one hand, one could say you're empowering people to live life to themselves, not to become a leader for themselves. But you're also educating coaches, so leading others. Is there a distinction in terms of skills or requirements, or however you want to call it, mindset, which is needed, or which you in addition need to lead others through transformation?
Is there a mindset?
I don't know, for a lack of a better word, but the term, like an understanding.
What we do, we have a full certification and we have a test that one must pass. And so, a mechanic doesn't have to have a great car to be a great mechanic. Hairdresser doesn't have to have great hair to be a great hairdresser. Masseuse doesn't have to have the most supple muscles to be a good masseuse. They just must be able to do the skill. Mm-hmm. And so to be a great coach, it's a skill. And so what we do is we have lots of practice sessions. We have 22 different techniques and ways to use the Superconscious, and we have a 5-step system. The system is, that everyone first works on. So you choose what you'd love. You get into the emotion of that. You must get in the emotion of it and teach your unconscious. Number 3, you notice where you are now. 4, you recode what's stopping you being it. And 5, you take action. So we have a very set structure for our coaches to work with other people. And so, it's just like everything, right? A plumber has to become a good plumber. And so a coach is simply a skill. And it's a very lucrative skill. I always tell my coaches, I'm like, if people can pay for fancy cars and high heel shoes and travel, they can pay for coaching. If they can pay for chiropractic and naturopath and meals out, coaching. If they can pay for alcohol and cigarettes, they can pay for coaching. And it's like, no, coaching by definition is to hold people into their highest potential, right? And the creative structure. And so Michael Jordan was my hero in the 1990s. But it wasn't until he got a good coach that he was able to win. He spent his first 7 years in the NBA not winning. And for 3 of those years, he was the best player in the league. Then he got a coach named Phil Jackson. Now, once he got Phil, it was 2 years until they started winning. Then they won 3 in a row. Then Michael retired. Then he came back. They won 3 in a row. Then when he retired for the second time, Phil Jackson changed teams. And he changed teams to the LA Lakers. LA Lakers had a rookie named Kobe Bryant. And Phil went on to win 5 championships with Kobe. Phil Jackson was the coach. Now, he was a pretty decent basketball player in this early 70s and late 60s. Played in the NBA, but he only ever won 1 championship as a player. He's a great coach, but one of the best coaches of all time. And with different teams. And so he's a big hero of mine, right? Coaching. So Phil Jackson, and that's what a coach does. A coach has a system and helps others to be better.
Makes a lot of sense. Very simple.
It is. And, if any listeners out there, don't know how they should make money, being a coach is a really good choice. I tell you why. Because it's the same skill that you need to be a great parent, and it's the same skill you need to be a great business leader. I know I'm running out of time here. I'm got to jump off for a second. But here's what I would love to leave people with, really, is that if you want to be a great business leader, become a coach, because a great business leader never has to know how to do anything in their business. They just need to know how to hold people's focus on an end result and get everyone working together towards that end result. And so coaching, in my opinion, is the best thing you can learn. So number 1, you end up becoming a great business leader. Number 2, you be a great parent. Number 3, you be great in other relationships. And most importantly, you can have a really good income, So we have our programs are incredible, right? But for me, they're so lucrative. So our bottom program is $199 a month. We have 2,000 people in that program. Our middle program is $399 a month. We have 700 people in that program. My next program is $2,000 a month. I have 150 people in that program. And so my business as a coach is all through groups. I don't do any one-on-one. And most months I make somewhere around about $1.5 million. Most months. Changing lives. Everyone's happy. It's brilliant. And so anyone out there who's, I don't know what I should do, but be a group coach groups. If you can do 1% of what I'm doing, you have a good little passive income.
Well, thank you, Chris, for taking the time. It was very insightful. Great conversation. Thank you the time for being here. And we will link to your pages, to your website offering in the description. So everybody who's listening, watching this and is interested can find more there. Yeah.
You can, but also you should sign up with Simon. Do his work. You got some great skills and knowledge. And so if you resonate with this podcast, don't just be a drifter, out there just drifting along, get into it. Like sign up with Simon, do the creative development work. You clearly resonate with him in this podcast, and find the person who you resonate with most. And just go all in, get all the books, read my books, read William's books, read Robert Fritz's books, read the books, and let go of that old you. And so, hey man, thanks for having me on, and hope it was worth it.
Was awesome, man. Thank you. Yeah. Take care, everyone. You, Chris, thank you for your time. Everybody who's listening, viewing this, all the best. See you next time. Thank you.